We had a little bit of a technical issue at the end of that last segment, but we are now going to be moving on to our final topic of the day, where we will be talking about the comments made from former Patriots edge rusher Rob Ninkovich about the Patriots quarterback situation over the past couple years, and specifically what he had to say about Mac Jones. Mac Jones, obviously now in Jacksonville, was the first round selection of the Patriots in 2021. Was thought that he was going to finally be sort of the next quarterback of the future following Tom Brady's retirement and one season of an unsuccessful Cam Newton campaign that Mac Jones was going to be the answer. And for 2021, I think that he did do just about everything he could. They won 10 games. He was selected to the Pro Bowl for whatever that's worth, and he had a good season. But from that point on, it just continued to get worse and worse. And talked about it on the show before. I think that that is in large part because of the incompetence of the Patriots front office and coaches of not putting together a good enough surrounding talent for offensive line and receivers to actually help a young quarterback develop. I just don't think he ever really stood a chance based off of sort of his surrounding situations, but he also probably was never the guy at the end of the day. But that being said, former Patriots edge rusher Rob Ninkovich had some pretty harsh words about Mac Jones. Ninkovich was a starter for the Patriots for a handful of years in the 2010s, won 2 Super Bowls with the team, and he's still in tune with the Patriots. And he now hosts the Dan and Ninko show with Dan O'Brien. And yesterday there were some clips going viral about Ninkovich bad-mouthing Mac Jones a little bit. Dan O'Brien mentioned that Mac Jones doesn't like Ninkovich, and he proceeded to go off on him. He said that he would smack the bleep out of Mac Jones, and also included a pretty funny impersonation of Mac, just how timid he was at the press conferences, especially by the end. It was definitely something, as a Patriots fan myself, I felt bad for Mac Jones, but he almost painted the picture as well, just the way with how he spoke and what he said, as, a big-time victim as well. And, he took accountability. Some of the things he said was right, but it just kind of, it just didn't go down well in New England, whether it's Mac Jones' fault or not. So, pretty harsh words from Rob Ninkovich, the way that he went in on him. I would recommend, checking out that entire episode for more context on all of that. But Mac Jones just played pretty well in the preseason for the Jaguars, and it has led to a little bit of a conversation among Patriots fans and others about this idea that the Patriots should have decided to keep Mac Jones one last season and start to build up the remainder of the roster, because as we've seen in the preseason, even with Drake May now, who is their future, or at least is hoped to be, that the offensive line is still a mess and the receivers still are also not very good. And, with the 3rd overall pick, they could have had a number of different options. They could have gone with either a receiver or an offensive lineman, Marvin Harrison Jr. or Joe Alt, or they could have potentially traded that 3rd overall pick to move down a bit and accumulate a number of different draft picks for the future to fill out some of those holes, and maybe still even potentially get a top 10 player in the draft. Now, you can't have it all. Patriots fans also are oftentimes very difficult to please ultimately. So I think that, where I have landed on this is the idea that I do understand how messy the situation is with the Patriots and that they have a lot of room to grow. I think when you're at the top of the draft like that, especially in a strong quarterback class, that you just have to take a swing at the best available guy. And it's not even like Drake May was some afterthought who, just kind of happened to be thrown into it because the Patriots needed a quarterback and he was available. Drake May was somebody that at the beginning of the 2023 college football season, there were legitimate talks about the idea of it was always going to be Caleb Williams being drafted number 1, but it was this idea that Drake May isn't actually as far away from Caleb Williams as previously thought. Now, ultimately, the momentum on that died, and May ended up falling to number 3 as Jaden Daniels put together a Heisman season and catapulted himself from probably what would have been outside of the first round to the number 2 overall pick. So, I think that it was a golden opportunity that the Patriots could not pass up on. But I do also understand that there are a lot of other issues with how this team is currently constructed, and they have a lot of room to grow. Mac Jones, what I'll say about him is, again, I defend him. I think if he landed in a different situation, I still look back to San Francisco when there was at least that sort of smokescreen about the idea of how Mac Jones could have potentially gone number 3, and then they ended up going with Trey Lance instead. I feel like if Mac Jones landed in San Francisco, there's a good chance he could still be the starting quarterback there. And Purdy, yes, at this point 100% is better, but I do wonder if Mac Jones would have had a more stable place to develop in. I wonder if he could have been able to actually pan out there, because again, his rookie season when things were more functional for the Patriots was actually pretty good, all things considered. And yeah, they got their doors blown off in the playoffs against the Bills, but that was a Patriots team that probably shouldn't have been in the playoffs to begin with. Part of it was based off of Mac Jones. A lot of it was based off of, again, Bill Belichick. I still think that Bill Belichick, the coach, is a great option for any team. Bill Belichick, the general manager, sort of killed this Patriots run is even probably the wrong word to put, because at that point, they hadn't won a playoff game in a handful of years, and they had a Cam Newton year in there as well. But, Belichick was on a roll, I think, even in that Cam Newton year. I believe the Patriots won 7 games in 2020. There was really no way that they should have, or it was 2019. 2020, I don't know. The Patriots should not have won that many games, and Belichick kept the Patriots in it far longer than they should have been. But ultimately, again, bad roster decisions, and not just the roster itself, but obviously the entire coaching debacle of having Matt Patricia and Joe Judge as your co-offensive coordinators, and the mess that was just, it was too much for Bill Belichick to continue basically putting out fires that he was also creating while also trying to run a football team. He was just so spread thin, and by the end of it, he was just struggling to, do his job. But ultimately, I think they made the right decision. And, just to these quotes about Rob Ninkovich, the idea of, I understand, Mac Jones, even if he was a good talent, one of the big things that Ninkovich was sort of hitting on during all of this is the fact that he said that he needs a quarterback with some more nuts as his starter. And he obviously played under Tom Brady, or with Tom Brady, I should say. And he saw what that true leadership looks like. And even when, again, I'm a Patriots fan, I was probably overly optimistic pro Mac Jones for a little bit there. It's not like he ever screamed leader. And especially once the 2022 offseason when it was coming together with Matt Patricia and Joe Judge, and they're playing these preseason games. It's like, oh wow, this is going very poorly. Mac Jones was complaining all the way through, publicly sort of yelling at players and coaches on the sideline. And I get it. It must have been an extremely frustrating situation watching his professional career basically sabotaged by the people that were supposed to be nurturing him and helping him grow. But I do think that there is a very real difference in, as Rob Ninkovich put it, the demeanor between Mac Jones talking and Drake May talking. That being said, we've had a lot more experience with Mac Jones at the NFL level than with Drake May. Who knows what May will sound like after the Patriots offense doesn't show up and, they potentially lose a game something like 10-3, or, multiple of those games where last year they lost 3 games, I think it was, while allowing 10 points or fewer. And that just, if that's the case again with the Patriots, obviously, hopefully it isn't for them. But, what will Drake May sound like on the mic after that? I feel like it's a pretty tough go, especially when it's week after week, the offense continuing to not come up for them. Anything you say is going to get a little bit tiresome, and ultimately, I feel like Drake May is capable. First off, again, from a leadership and demeanor perspective, I think that he does just sound a lot more confident on the mic. Again, for whatever that's worth, in a more limited sample size, but I think it's that, and I think he's more capable physically and from a skill perspective of being the leader that the Patriots need to sort of get out of this funk that has been striking them for the past few years. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section. But that is all the time we have for today. Thank you very much for tuning into the GSMC Sports Podcast. Thank you to the GSMC Sports Network for allowing us to host this show. Remember to like, follow, subscribe wherever you keep up with us. Be sure to check us out on social media as well for more exclusive short content. And we will be back tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern, same time as always. We will see you then. Take care.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.